Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I will be talking about composing for TV and film. Even though I'm not an expert on the subject, I'm really passionate about it and I'm really interested in getting better at doing that. So I wanted to share my experience of scoring a scene. Now, fair warning, a lot of you, if you're a composer, you probably hate this scene because it was part of a competition held 4 years ago by a Spitfire Audio in 2020. In which there were 11,000 submissions. 11,000 composers submitted to this competition. I did not submit. I'm not a fan of competitions, so that's not my thing. But I've been wanting to score this in for quite some time, so I finally decided to do it, and I wanted to share with you my experience, my approach, and hopefully you will find some useful information. Let's get started.
I'm approaching now. Stand by.
Got it.
Verified.
Enable semi-automatic control. Disable safety features. Maximum speed. Go. What's happening to him?
I think he's switching genres.
We need distance. Head south.
Is that still an issue?
No. It's not. Point and shoot. Police ahead. Maintain speed.
Maintain speed.
Sharp left. Now.
I missed.
Hold on. All right, I need you. Drop in, intersect, maximum speed. Arm charges now. Accelerate.
Acceleration at 90%.
More.
94%.
More.
98%.
Stop.
Why the f are we stopping?
Get down.
Okay, so the first thing I did was listening to the original score. The composer for Westworld was Ramin Djawadi, but for most of this scene, they actually used Richard Wagner's The Ride of the Valkyries, which is a very popular piece of music used during battles. But I wanted to do a different approach. Trying to write something similar to The Ride of the Valkyries didn't make a lot of sense, and it kind of be pointless because the value of that piece of music is because triggers previous memories of the audience hearing that song and associating that song with those kinds of scenes. Okay, one thing I did to the dialogue and sound effect track, which is just a stereo file for this situation. In reality, that would be for the mixing engineer. That would be many tracks to really have an opportunity to balance it correctly. But here we just have a stereo file, and it sounded very centered, not a lot of stereo information. So just to make it a little bit more interesting, I added a little bit of low end. I added a little bit of EQ just to get rid of some mid frequencies that I didn't like and boost a little bit of the highs. And I used the spread plugin within Logic to kind of give a wider sound field. Let's listen with or without. With without. This is not the best solution for this, but just to help me out and create a little bit of a better sound for the scene, that's what I did. At the beginning, the dialogue was too low. I boosted the intro about 15 dBs, quite a lot. Yes, you can see it right here. And
We're approaching now. Stand by.
Got it.
right, spread on, off, on.
Verified.
Enable semi-automatic control.
And the last thing, I added some reverb to the section in which he's going through the effects of the drug that he took, the genre.
What's happening to him?
I think he's switching genres.
Right, without the reverb. And I think that's what they did in the original track too.
What's happening to him?
I think he's switching genres.
Right. Okay, so those little minor things, that's not my main concern, right? That's just to have a basic track under the music that it sounds a little bit better. Okay, so the main purpose of the music when scoring for TV and film is to support the storytelling, right? So it's important to not get in the way of the dialogue, right? And it's important to synchronize our music to hit just in the right moments of the scene that we're watching. So I spent some time creating markers in different sections of the scene to kind of give me an idea of what I wanted. And in reality, a lot of these markers happen after, because I'm scoring a certain section of the song, and I'm not fully decided on what's going to happen there. It's a little bit of trial and error. And once I really identify the emotion or the feel for that, I continue scoring, and I started putting my markers too. But the part that is really important is the tempo mapping, because you need to make sure the sections of the scene are hitting at the right spot. So it will require tempo mapping, as you can see them right here. And if you go through the scene, you can see where, for example, here, right, is when he turns. This is when the scene changes to the motorcycle and so forth. So the music changes have to be synced. Okay, I'm just gonna go over some of the instruments I use in this composition. A composer template can get extremely complex. There's composers that have up to like hundreds of tracks and their templates ready to go. This is not a template. I would just add in instruments as I go. And also I was trying to keep everything as simple as possible. For example, if I wanted the sound of an orchestra hitting, instead of programming the brass, the strings, the woodwinds, and the percussion, doing it individually, I could find a patch that can get the sound of all of them at the same time. That's the route I went. If I can get a patch or a synth that would get a full sound and create the right atmosphere for a specific section of the scene, that's the way I would go for. And that was my approach in that sense. I wanted to keep things as simple as possible and just focus on making sure that the music was working for the scene. Okay, so let's go over the sounds that are used for this composition. But I think it's important to clarify that this is a first draft, something that you would send to the film director for approval or for feedback to see what things need to be improved. All the sound is still in MIDI format. It has not been bounced to audio. And if I had the responsibility to mix this and optimize it, I would probably do it in Pro Tools. I would export these sounds into Pro Tools, and I would apply processing there to improve and maximize the sound as much as possible. As you're gonna see right now, most of the sounds are straight out of the box. Even though they sound great like that, there's always room to improve them a little bit more. So let's go over the sounds. Okay, so let's just go in order. I believe that should work. We have a synth bass right here in this section. And it sounds like this. And I'm using Trillion. Trillion is an amazing virtual instrument that has high quality bass sounds. I highly recommend it. Okay. Then I'm using this Brahms and different parts of this arrangement. And they sound like this. And this is what I'm using. I'm using Instinct. It's a great instrument for cinematic sounds, booms and subs and stuff like this. I highly recommend it too. Okay. Have some sub bass effects. Listen. For this one, I'm using Substance by Output. It's a lo-fi bass loop that helps to keep that pulse. It's kind of like not super present in the mix. It's under it, but it creates like that tension that I think works, and you'll hear it in a moment, I guess. Sub hits. For that one, I'm using, again, Instinct. Then we have Action Strikes. Okay, and in this one, I have a little bit of compression happening too. Then we have 2 instances of Damage. One doing this kind of top end kind of thing, and another one similar pattern of the one on Strike. Okay, and you notice this section I had to automate one of the patterns to be muted for a moment. Yeah. And okay, let's keep going. We have a couple of pulses. Let's see what they're doing. Trailer Elements. I forgot which company makes this one. Then we have another one. This is Omnisphere. Okay, we have a brass cluster. This is from Arturia, augmented brass. I really like this. I just started experimenting with it recently. I really like the sounds. And this sound reminds me of The Matrix. I think they used something similar in that movie. Okay, we have a couple of risers. Okay, another one. And both of them are coming from Rising Hit. A couple of pads that I used at the beginning. Omnisphere. Okay, and the other one at a higher register. This one is flashlight. Couple of notes only. That's all you need. Then I have this brass effects pad. Let's see what this is. Okay, again from augmented brass. Again, as you can see, they don't have any processing. All of them are pretty much the way the patch is. Okay, next one, dystopian effects. Let's see what this is. This is from Contact. Symphobia. I love Symphobia. I know it's an older library, but I love the sounds. A lot of people might say things, okay, you need to keep updated, have the latest sounds, because then it sounds dated, or it sounds like everybody already used those sounds. I do not care for that at all. If it sounds good, it sounds good. It's very rare that the audience gets to see like, oh, that's an old sound. They don't care. That's my personal opinion. If it sounds good, use it. That's my philosophy. Now, I don't want to go into a different subject, but we'll talk about that in a different video. About being creative and unique, and that's a different story. We'll talk about it next in another video. Okay, so next one. Remember I mentioned try to be efficient. I'm using full orchestra sounds here for those hits. Symphobia again. Right? Playing in octaves. Okay, and then we have a different orchestra here. Full orchestra. Again, it's the same Project Sam. I love their sounds. Okay, the next one is action strings that has already kind of pre-made melodies and patterns that you can kind of mix and match. And I think it works well for this kind of situation. Let's check it out. Okay. And then I have a second one. Okay, action strings. You can see the pattern that is playing. So it's switching between those two patterns, okay? And I like is machine guns. It's those 60 notes going fast is causing that tension that it works. Okay, then I have double bass. Let's see what they're doing. I'm using a Spitfire chamber strings. Okay, then the cellos. Playing an octave higher. But you have to program all this, the dynamics right here, right? Very good, and continue to low brass. Let's see what's happening here. Cine brass. Okay, we have the trombones and the tuba playing together. Tuba and bass trombone. So low brass instruments, right? Playing that. Then add this monster low brass. I believe it's also by Cine Samples. That's the name of the patch. Monster Low Brass. And in this one, I'm adding this reverb. Without it, not the same, right? It needed that extra push with the reverb. Again, without it. With. And the last one is this horns. Let's see. They show up at different parts of the arrangement. It's a 12 horn ensemble. Okay, one more important thing before I play the composition. I think it's important to listen to the dialogue and sound effects track for clues in selecting the key of your composition. For example, in this, I knew I had to change keys to in this section of the scene, but when I listen to the car, it's giving this clear D. Da. Listen again. Yes, you heard my beautiful voice. Okay, so that's pretty much giving me a clue that I should compose probably in that key. And that's what I did. Again, the car. Da. And then we have the cellos and the double basses and everything hitting that note. Right, so that section of the scene is in that key. Okay, let's go over the whole piece.
We're approaching now. Stand by.
Got it.
Go open
Verified.
key right there.
Enable semi-automatic control. Disable
No driving
safety features.
rhythms
Maximum
until
speed.
we
Go.
start with the car chase. The drums come in. Again, we can tell the difference the music is making. Right, bring it down. And this is the only part in which we kind of like stop the tempo for a moment. There's no
What's happening
super
to me?
clear pulse
I
happening
think
at
he's
that
switching genres.
part because he is going through that transition. We start building again. Only one of the drums comes in.
We need distance. Head south.
Boom. More drums, more rhythm, more intensity. They would change a little bit the pace. Those scenes, the camera is far away, kind of gives you that, it's going to that aerial view. So we dropped some of the drums. We added the new pulse happening here. Keeping that pulse. Action scenes usually never drop that.
Is that stand an issue?
But there's a
No.
lot of room for the dialogue to come through.
It's not.
Now we start building. Up key.
Point and shoot.
We have this new loop coming in. We drop the drums for a moment. They come back.
Police ahead. Maintain speed. Maintain speed. Sharp left.
Then we're gonna change key. We're actually gonna go lower to D, which was the key given by the car sound effects. We introduce now the double bass and the cello in that section. The low brass for a deeper sound, a lower key. And again, tension to release the rhythm. The pulses are keeping the energy. The bass comes in. And boom, perfectly in sync with the explosion. Now the brass is playing that melody
All right, I need
that we
you.
heard
Drop
before.
in. Intersect. Maximum speed.
When it goes to that
Arm
part with the
charges
motorcycle,
down.
everything drops. Feel the bass. Now we start building.
Accelerate.
Acceleration at
Some of the
90%.
drums come in.
More.
94%.
More.
98%.
Okay.
Stop.
We bring down the energy for a moment
Why the f are we stopping?
Get down.
so we can build it for the ending. Monster low breath comes in for the first time. And just keep that pulse and the monster breath. And that was it. Okay, thank you so much for your time. I hope by now you start getting a picture of who I am. It's gonna take a few more videos to fully describe who I am, but as you can see, I love producing. I'm a guitar player. I play a few different instruments. I love mixing, mastering, music production, composing for film and TV, and I'm just looking for opportunities to network and hopefully find opportunities to work with new people. So feel free to contact me. My website is tranquilomusic.com. Thank you for your support. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.